This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim pass the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sob like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. And oh boy, Tony, we lost our second in a row to the Atlanta Hawks. We are below 500, 3-4 in the season. What you think, man?
We let this one get away from us early. You know, it was an uphill battle after that, and
Right.
you know they wanted it more than us for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think when we took that lead late in the fourth, and the Hawks had to call a timeout, I think the Knicks thought the game was over, and they took their foot off the gas.
Right.
They went on a 9-1 run after that. Then it was like a 11-1 run after that. And then we scored, I don't know, maybe 3 more points. They scored maybe 4 more points. But yeah, we took our foot off the gas.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect that the Knicks were going to be super good right away. I knew it was going to take some time. You know what I mean? So I'm trying not to, be panicky. You know what I mean? Because it's going to take some time for the team to really become a team. It just doesn't happen like that overnight. But
I mean, it's gonna take a year over. You know what I mean? It takes a year in general for a team to really come out there and win it once fully assembled.
Right.
But we gotta see what we can maximize now, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's the early season. It's early in the season, so I'm with you.
Yeah, 7 games into the season. 7 games into the season. The defense, I mean, we talked about it before the game. That pick and roll defense, if you let Trae Young get into the lane, if you let Trae Young be able to create off of that pick and roll, it's going to cause problems, and it caused problems for us all night long. I mean, I don't know how many times guys got dunks at the basket, and not just because of Trae Young.
No rotation.
No rotations. We let guys get behind us. We let guys slash in front of us. Cut in front of us for easy buckets. The defense ain't looking good. We gotta find a way to get some chemistry on the defensive side. If not, we'll be in trouble. We'll definitely be in trouble if we can't get that chemistry on the defensive side.
And it's Tom Thibodeau gotta be going crazy.
Yeah.
Like, because it doesn't even look challenged a lot of the times.
Right.
No resistance.
And then on the offensive side, some of the decision making hasn't been on point either.
Turnovers, unforced turnovers.
Yeah.
Unforced.
Unforced errors. You know what I mean? And I will say, some of that is due to the team being new. You know what I mean? That's gonna happen. Because you don't have that chemistry to know exactly where guys are going to be, to know exactly the way guys want the basketball. You're not gonna have that chemistry. So you're gonna make some of those type of mistakes. That's just the way basketball goes. It doesn't. It's not always gonna click just like that. You're gonna make some mistakes. But the pressure on this team is picking up already. You know what I mean? Because the expectations. Now, the Knicks dropped one to the Atlanta Hawks, a team that they should have outmatched. Right? They lose 121 to 116 in Atlanta with a ton of Knicks fans there. Then Trae Young at the end, said, told the Knicks fans to go home, said, take y'all asses home. Knicks fans booed and this and that, but, the Hawks took us out the game. They made us go home. That's what happened. It didn't feel like our starters could deal with their starters. Anytime the bench units came in, the Knicks would take the lead. Right? So our bench unit, obviously had some starters in it, was better than their bench unit, but as soon as their starters got back in the game, we struggled. Daniel Dyson did a good job on Jalen Brunson, made it tough for him all night long. Made it tough for him. Jalen Brunson struggled tonight with Daniels. He couldn't really find a rhythm. Jalen Brunson, 8 for 18 tonight from the field. I mean, it's not terrible. 44%, it's not terrible. 4 for 11 from the three-point line. 21 points, 4 assists. But it didn't feel like he had a good rhythm because Daniel Dyson was he was using his length to D him up. You know what I'm saying? And Jalen Brunson struggled. Karl Anthony Towns, offensively, he was okay. Rebounded the basketball. I feel like there was 1-3 in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, that I felt, we needed to try to get the ball inside to score a bucket, but we pulled a 3. We were down by 3. We pulled a 3 in the corner. I don't think it was the best shot. Thought we could have got a better shot. Some of that decision making, again, it was a contested 3. I don't know, not a good game for the Knicks tonight. Struggled all night long to really find a good rhythm. And the Hawks, it's not like they're a defensive juggernaut. They're not a defensive juggernaut, but I do think, especially this team here, if you can make it tough for Jalen Brunson, you might make it tough for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because he is the total engine on this team. There's not another engine. Especially without Campaign out there tonight. Campaign can come in and be a little bit of an engine, but there's not another engine out there on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Brunson is the engine, and if he's struggling, the team might struggle a little bit offensively. Go ahead, Tom.
I thought Mikal Bridges was highly underutilized tonight. I'm not even gonna say but they did not even try to exploit Trae Young. You know what I mean? I seen him in the post with Trae Young numerous times, and him having to move out. You know what I mean? Because he's not. You know what I mean? They're not even looking his direction. I don't think he took more than 10 shots.
10 shots on the nose.
He took 10 shots?
10 shots on the nose.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's one of the and again, 7 games, right? But you got to take advantage of mismatches as they come. Like, this is what we was talking about 2 games prior, I believe, before before they utilize Cat. Like again, you can't have a little guy on Cat. You can't put a little guy on Bridges. Bridges has been eating in the post all season. You know what I mean? Still 7 games, but that's been one of his danger zones. Now he's in the post with Trae Young on him. And that's a way to get him out the game, period. You know what I mean? Exploit that.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that bothered me tonight.
Yeah. Looking at the box score, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, the Knicks couldn't find a rhythm tonight. besides Karl Anthony Towns, he had 34 points and 16 rebounds. Nice numbers for Cat. 47.8% from the field, 55.6% from the three-point line, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Great numbers. Great numbers for Cat. Jalen Brunson, the game was a little rugged for him. 21 points, though. 4 assists. 44% from the field. I mean, the Knicks had some balanced scoring. Deuce McBride had 16 points, knocking down threes, 7 assists. Josh Hart, 14 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. OG Anunoby had 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Mikal Bridges had 10 points, only took 10 shots. But it was good balanced scoring from the Knicks. We just couldn't get stops. We couldn't stop them from scoring the ball when we needed to. Go ahead.
I was gonna say even late in the game, I thought when he brought Mikal Bridges in, I thought at that point he should have took him out. He should have took Josh Hart out because McBride was playing so well. You know what I mean? And so it didn't even make sense to me because he took McBride out and then didn't even really utilize Bridges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And
right.
McBride was hot. So it was like,
yeah, man. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we got to figure out a way to string together some wins. That whole streak of OG Anunoby. The Knicks not losing 2 in a row with OG on the team is broken.
That's over.
That's done deal.
And this was supposed to be the soft stretch right here.
Oh man, I don't know. How does it get easier, Tone?
I mean, the chemistry is going to improve, and that's the biggest thing. And there's a lot of things that they are doing well. You know what I mean? So it's not like, again, it's not panic time. You know what I mean? We didn't start the season like, the Bucks or the Sixers. You know what I mean? Like, but we still got to clean things up.
Right.
And I'm not worried. Again, I'm getting on Tibbs for some decisions, but one thing I will say, he comes back, he bounces back, just just like the team does, with a game plan, with a strategy. He notices the things that aren't being done. It becomes a focus the next game or whatever the case, next couple games. So I don't expect us to falter in the same way, moving forward.
Yeah,
we got another challenge next though. Bucks, you know what I mean? Bucks is next. They want to win desperately.
Right.
So this might be a blessing for us.
Right.
To kind of have some kind of hunger to stop a losing streak and not take them any lighter than, like, don't take them for their schedule.
Right. And not to mention, there's all this talk about
trades and
Giannis, if he would request a trade, New York would be a team and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see the team fall to 3-5. There's a lot of games left, so it's obviously possible for the Knicks to dig themselves out of a ditch, but you don't want to have to dig yourself out of a ditch.
And I wouldn't. All right, I don't know. Let me ask you. Let's say the record is the same. It's a tough question. Well, do you want Tibbs to experiment more? I mean, I know you high on Dadier. You kept saying how you feel like, he could be an integral part of us this season. He's very limited in the rotation, even with Kolek playing now. He playing tonight, but that's surely because Cam is not. You know what I mean? Like,
Kolek played 8 minutes. Jericho Sims 9 minutes. I mean, it's basically a 6-man rotation right there.
So that's my point. Like, it's one thing if we was, 6-1 or something like that.
Right.
And he's like, hey, I'm doing what I gotta do to win. But we losing some of these games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's your thoughts on
I mean, I would love to see him, utilize some of
rotation?
those guys. I think
Especially
Dottie
as
can help.
early as it is in the season?
Yeah.
You know what you got in it. I
Right.
mean, at the same time though, you want to get that chemistry locked and sealed first. So it could be a
Yeah, I mean, but those guys are gonna play regardless.
That's true. That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? Those guys are gonna get 30 minutes regardless. You know what I mean? If they're getting 30 minutes with each other, they're getting game time experience. They're building that chemistry. You can, Tyler, all right, he came in, he knocked down a few threes. You can use Dottier. You know what I mean? Like, you can use these young guys.
Hugporty, man.
I
think Hugporty could come in and change the game.
Hugporty can help. Like, all three of those guys can come in and give the Knicks a boost. You know what I mean? 5 minutes a half. I mean, Jericho Sims played, about 10 minutes. Tyler Kolek played.
He rebounds the ball. That's all he does.
But that's all he does is rebound, right?
And it's horrible, man. That play where the lob, all right, the pass was off, but you ain't even look at the rim. I think it was a lob, or it was either a lob or offensive rebound. But you know what I mean. He will not look at the rim.
Yeah, I know.
Take a shot.
I know. Yeah, I see my man Josh in the chat said it's not time to panic. He's right. It's not time to panic. It's not time to panic, but
I said it too. We just pointing out
the concern. The concern can be there, though. You know what I mean? The concern can definitely be there. The Hawks tonight were led in scoring.
Rook, number 1 pick.
Yeah. What? How do you say his last name again?
Ricochet. I don't know. They listen.
Yeah, Ricochet. I think something like that. 33 points from him tonight. 7 rebounds. He was doing this thing all night. 61% from the field, 60% from the 3-point line. Jalen Johnson had 23 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists.
I think he was averaging like maybe 14 or 16 on the season, Sim.
Who?
The man had Ricochet.
Oh, yeah, I know.
He had 22 in the first half.
Right. 22 in the first half. 33 points tonight. Clint Capella had 18 points, 16 rebounds. Trae Young, 23 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Dyson Daniels only 6 points, but he was there to defend Jalen Brunson, and he did a decent job doing that. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. We got some work to do.
Would have been funny, man.
It would have been
funny tonight.
It would have been. We got some work to do, Knicks fans. We got some work to do. Dorcosaurus Rex said everyone powers up against the Knicks. You're right. That you might be right about that, but that's what happens when you play for the Knicks. You got to be prepared for that. You got to be prepared for teams to power up and come to, play and put in work. That's not an excuse. You got to win. You know what I mean? You got to win. That's what Jalen Brunson is here for. That's what Karl Anthony Towns. We traded for Karl Anthony Towns to come here. You got to win. That's what's expected.
And I think we could try putting the ball in Mikal's hands a little bit more with Brunson on the floor.
Okay.
See if that could open up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We need another engine.
Something for Brunson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because somebody in the chat just said it about Randall, but Randall used to get Brunson some easier shots. You know what I mean? Just because of his gravitation.
We need another engine. Like, Randall was an engine. He was one of the engines on the team last year. And DiVincenzo became a little bit of an engine too. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm saying an engine, like one of the guys that makes the team go. You know what I mean? One of the one of the players that, you can run the offense through. They can be the facilitator. We only have one right now. We only have one. Dorcosaurus Rex said, I just want to point out that nobody stopped Ricochet all night, but Dadier already has pro experience playing against him in France and knows how to defend against him in his game well. Good point.
We saw that in summer league, preseason.
Good
correct?
point. Very good point. Bron, what's popping with you, bro? How you feeling?
Man, I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. I'm salute to you fellas, man. Good to see you, Sam, Tony. Pleasure. It's just it really kind of man, just to be losing games like this when the competition is you know what I mean. But it does say something about the differences with these young teams. They do look different, and now the Knicks look like they have some work to do to be able to hang with these young teams. They got these athletic guys, and they're running up and down the floor, and oh man, and with the way Tibbs be playing guys, this is gonna definitely take its toll on the team. They're gonna have to figure out something. But it kind of goes back to the only thing that I'm really noticing is something that we've all known and we've said for years. Tibbs's defense looks like it's all surrounded by a defensive center as an anchor.
Mm-hmm.
And no knock on Karl Anthony Towns. I think he's been doing the best he can, but he's just not that particular guy. And we try to move on and forget what Hartenstein was, but Hartenstein was a really good defensive center. And obviously we know what Mitch is when he's healthy. So it's just that's the one thing about Tibbs's defense. I always felt like it revolved around a defensive center. So I don't know what they're going to do going forward, but they got to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing I can say about Tibbs. He seems to find a way to figure some things out, right? Figures out what's the best way to utilize his players. Not everybody gets utilized the best, but
Right.
We know that, right? Not everybody gets utilized the best, but he figures out a way, to make the team go, especially if it's defensively. Especially defensively, he figures it out somehow, some way, and the team figures it out. So I think we can bet on that happening, that he's going to figure it out defensively. Can we figure it out all? I mean, I'll say this: Karl Anthony Towns is playing hard, right? And he really is making an effort to be there to protect the rim, to be a defensive center. So he's banging, he's rebounding, he's banging down there. You know what I mean? He's playing with energy and effort. I have no complaints about that, but the rest of the tentacles got to be able to work together defensively to be able to get these stops.
And just to piggyback off of that, a lot of the times where Karl is defending the rim, whether he gets the block or not, when that's his focus, the rotation is either not strong or it ends up being Brunson on a big. You know what I mean? We've seen that twice tonight with Brunson on a big after Karl tries to protect the rim. You know what I mean? We've also seen Trae Young seemingly walk by him to the rim. You know what I mean? But it's a you know what I mean? He has a decision to make because every time he does leave, Capella's the guy at the glass. You know what I mean? So it's tough. I think but I agree. I'm looking forward to January just to see how long they could run together and what it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh man, Tibbs got me 2 more games away from getting super frustrated, bro. Because
the next 2 are the 2 toughest.
I know, and that's why like this is a real good, like if he don't make a change in these next 2 games, I might start getting a little bit more upset, and I might start saying a little bit more about Tibbs, because it's not all his fault, right? The guys are going out there for some reason, there's certain things that are not happening the right way. These guys, one thing I'm noticing, they're not talking a lot. They're not doing a lot of talking on defense, which definitely is something that is necessary if you want to be a strong defensive team. But they get into their modes when they start to turn it up. The other thing that looks bad too is on the offensive side. I mean, we know what Cat is, and Cat's on the perimeter. Then you got Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby fighting with these guys for rebounds. It looks crazy. And all of this, you just took a 2-way away from Huck Porty, gave him a real deal, and this dude hasn't played since. Like, what are we doing here? Confused.
What kind of changes do you want to see, Ron?
I mean, honestly, the only thing I really wanted to see is I thought Kolek should have been able to play a little bit more in that Houston game, and I'm happy that he played him a little bit more in this Atlanta game. Now, we know Kolek's deficiencies defensively. That's always going to creep up. But I do like the fact that when he was out there, he did add something, and then we need some scoring off the bench in whatever way we can get it. So I thought that was good. But really, the biggest thing that I wanted to see is Huck Porty. I wanted to see another big out there that gave us a chance to not only get rebounds for us, but keep the other team from getting their own rebounds. Like, we need something else out there, and Sims ain't the answer. I'm ready to go a whole show about Sims, but I'm going to lay off the young brother.
And protect the rim a little bit, Huck Porty can.
And he's active. His body is active, right?
I like
Banging,
the guy,
hitting,
but he
moving.
He caught the ball in the paint at some point. I don't know if it was the second quarter or third quarter. He had the ball and he turned around and he passed it out. And I said, all that Mike Bibby hook shot, lefty, righty, turnaround stuff, and I couldn't even see it one time right there. Like, you close to the rim, you 6'9" with leaping ability. Can you turn around and hit me with the hook shot? I don't know. I just really want to see this guy be a little bit more aggressive. He's so lethargic when it comes to that stuff.
I don't think it's in his personality. I guarantee you, if you sit and have a conversation with Jericho Sims, it's probably like, "Hey, how was your day? Good. Did you eat today? No."
Yeah, I believe that. I believe
That's what they say about OG, in a sense.
It's true. That's true. But at least with OG, he's going to be aggressive. He gambled tonight to a fault at some points because there was no backup for him. How many times did he gamble to try to cut off a lane, try to get a steal, and there was nobody backing him up?
Right?
Yeah, tonight was not the night. Like, that's what Tibbs wants for him to kind of be a help defender rather than the primary defender. But when your guy is hot and having a career night, granted he a rookie is 7 games in, you know what I mean? But when he's playing the best he's ever played, you gotta refocus.
Pay attention to him. Yeah.
That's your first assignment. Remember that. You know what I mean? Your second objective is help.
Right.
So I agree. He was looking to help every single time, and I'm like, dude, this guy's killing you. You know what I mean? He's killing you.
Yeah.
Whether it was him or Johnson, because I think they both shot the ball well.
Yeah. The Knicks out rebounded tonight, 57-50. I haven't taken a dive into the stats and into the rebounding stats, but how many games have the Knicks been out rebounded so far this season?
All the ones we lost.
I would dare to say all of them except one that I remember.
All the ones we lost.
Definitely all the games we lost, I would say. I have to go back and look at it, but I hope this isn't going to be a problem because we were, the past few years we've been one of the best rebounding teams. We've been the top, a very good rebounding team. Hope this isn't going to be a problem. 29 assists tonight for the Knicks, 31 for the Hawks, 12 steals for the Hawks, which helped lead to 15 turnovers by the Knicks, only 8 turnovers for the Hawks. And I'm seeing the Knicks do just like dumb turnovers, man.
Giving it to him. Just here.
You know, Brunson, boom, 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 turn around and just pitch it right to whoever he pitched it to. Maybe it was Dyson. You know, some of that is definitely just the inexperience of being with each other. I think he was trying to pitch it to Josh Hart. No, Deuce, I think he was trying to pitch it to. You know, some of it.
2 consecutive, son.
Yeah. Some of it is going to be the guys not playing together. You're going to get turnovers and those type of things. But come on, some of the stuff that is that easy. You know, I'm going to turn around and pitch it. I'm not going to look first to see if I can make the pitch. Like, I'm just going to turn around and throw it to somebody. Come on.
Well, you know, another thing that was happening a lot, like for a team that has, like, we got a lot more, I would think, high IQ players on the team now. I mean, we making some sloppy plays, what you're mentioning, but also guys just taking the ball from us. Like Deuce getting the ball taken from him, Brunson got to take it from him, OG got to take it from him, McCall got to take. I'm like, what are we doing?
Exactly. Right. Greg said 8-man rotation, mad turnovers because they're burnt out. Bro, it's the 7th game of the season. And I'm talking about a turnover that happened in the first half. That's not being burnt out. That's just a bad play. It's just a bad play. That, you know, you're not being aware. You know what I mean? I mean, I get it. 8-man rotation and all of that. Cool. So as a player, you just got to focus a little bit more and make better decisions with the ball. We're not making good decisions with the ball. You can make good decisions with the basketball. You know, 15 turnovers is not crazy. But if the other team is capitalizing and they're taking care of the basketball, it can be crazy, right? Because basically we doubled up their turnovers.
It should have easily been 10 because 5 of them were really just giveaways.
Yeah.
Like you saying, passing without looking. You know what I mean? Passing under light pressure. It was ridiculous.
Getting the ball ripped from us, like Ron was saying, dribbling the ball, and they just, you know, they take it from us. Come on. That's not burnout. That's just being sloppy, in my opinion. I'm not saying we can't use more players. I think Dadier should play and Huck Porty. But they not burnt out right now. They just losing.
Do you fellas feel like, I mean, the shooting looks great. We're a better shooting squad from the free throw line. We're better from the field. We're better from three. I mean, I think we're one of the tops in the league in 3-point percentage as a team. Maybe we're number 1, which is wild. But
we were before tonight. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what it changed that.
Do you feel like we're playing better though than traditional? Well, I don't even want to say that. Do you feel like we're playing better than we were playing last year?
Offensively?
Yes, offensively too. Because the numbers to me are misleading.
We're
the
shooting
shooting efficiency. Yeah, we're shooting better, but I don't know if we look better out there.
Right, we're shooting better, but we took 84 shots tonight.
Yeah, last year our identity was getting more shot attempts. You know what I mean? Attacking the glass. It was everything effort. It was everything consistent effort. Like if there was one thing you knew, the Knicks was gonna fight tonight.
Yeah.
Whether they won, whether they lost. I mean, like it was gonna be a physical, tough battle.
Right. And they put the way that they played, I feel, put a little bit more pressure on teams, I think. You know, because they took more shots. So there's, you know, I think they played a little bit faster. They got up and down. They got up the court a little bit quicker, right? Randall, Dante, Brunson, Josh Hart, right? These guys could get the ball and go. You know, we're not really doing that right now. But you know, besides a couple of plays, and so it put pressure on the opposing team. And we were getting up between 92 and 94 shots a game. You know, 84 shots tonight. The Hawks, by comparison, 100 shots. You know, 100 field goal attempts. You know, and they shot worse than us. They shot 45% from the field, but they made 45 shots. We made 41. We shot a better percentage, but we still only made 41 shots.
And we were probably closer to even with threes than twos, right?
We took 47 threes tonight. Made 22 of them.
And them?
The Hawks took 38 threes and made 15. You know, part of it is figuring out our style. The style of this team, I think, is going to be slow. We're going to be a half court team, you know, because we don't got people that's running up and down the court. Like OG is not going to get the rebound and just take off and go. He's going to find Brunson. McCall will. Josh Hart will. He's going to make a couple of turnovers, but he will. Brunson will. So we got guys that can do it. It just seems like we're not doing it as often.
Are we not comfortable with Cat doing it?
I don't think he's.
You don't think that's in his repertoire?
I think he can, but I don't know if he can get it up with the speed that like Randall would have.
Oh no! I'm not trying to make a direct comparison. I'm just saying. I think you didn't really mention him. That's the only reason why.
Because when he gets it, he normally gets it and is finding the guard. It seems like he only advances the ball when he needs to. You know, it's like, I don't know. Dante was it's kind of in his DNA to grab the ball and go. Randall too, get the rebound and be ready to go. You know, if there's something out there, obviously Brunson can do that. When Josh Hart was in the game, he could do it too. So so boom, right there, that'd be 4 guys on the floor that would get the ball out and be ready to go. You know, Bridges can do it. I don't know how much he's still trying to find his way. So right now it's basically Brunson and Hart, because Bridges, you know, is kind of iffy with it. Not that he can't do it, just in his decision making, he's figuring it out.
Bridges is usually the leaker, if you will, and trying to be a threat for a outlet pass. I'm not really trying to harp on this, but I'm really intrigued because I've been looking at Cat attack the rim from the top of the paint, the top of the key. You know what I mean? Whether it's off a 3-point fake or just getting the ball as a trailer and then attacking the rim. And I'm like, man, he really has like Giannis steps as far as long strides. You know what I mean? 1-2 steps, he's at the rim. And now you're talking about, you know, pushing the ball, which again is another thing that Giannis does. So I'm just wondering, why aren't we implementing that with Towns if you think he's capable of it, or do you think it's something capable, not comfortable, or because obviously Tibbs' philosophy, even with Randall, was to push the pace. You know what I mean? Like it was a privilege given. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I want you to. So do you think it's just something still that has to get more accustomed to once everything else is cleaned up?
I think it is something they got to get accustomed to. Also, Tibbs has to, you know, be confident that the player can do it. You know, and not send them crazy with turnovers and those things. I mean, that's one thing. You know, I hate to go back and harp on it, but you know, it's just part of the thing when you lose players. Like we literally lost 2 starters from the bench in the trade. So now we're figuring out how to make that up. You know what I mean? Because Dante and Josh Hart were going to be on the bench. You know what I mean? So now you put Josh Hart in the starting lineup and Dante's on another team, and those were 2 horses that can run and get up shots and were a big part of the identity of the team. And then you had Randall that was in the starting lineup, who was a big part of the identity of the team. You know, so it's changed significantly. You know what I mean? If you look at it right now, if the trade never happened, we wouldn't be talking about, obviously Precious would be out, but, you'd be talking about Josh Hart and Dante and Deuce coming off the bench. Whoever would be the starting center, I don't know, but you'd be talking about those three guys coming off the bench and being able to push the pace, play together. Had chemistry with the starting lineup, had chemistry with the bench. Like the chemistry would have been there. Now we have a whole new redesign, and we got to figure out who we are as a team. We're still figuring out an identity. We don't have one yet. We had an identity last year. We don't have an identity right now. We don't know what that identity is because it's a brand new team.
I just hope everybody understands that no matter what, whether or not the trade happened or didn't happen,
we're still Knicks fans.
Oh, damn. I wasn't even thinking that, but you ain't lying. You ain't lying. No, if we had Randall and Dante, we would be playing a little bit. We would be more comfortable, of course. So we'd probably be right there, and these games might be close, and we have a chance to win. But we'd still be getting cooked by the bigs and the paint. The rebounding would be a little better, but we'd still be getting cooked defensively because of the paint issues and stuff like that. That's something that still needs to be addressed no matter who we have here. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they'll figure out a way in due time to kind of mask it so we can kind of move along and stop the teams from capitalizing on our weakness, because that is our weakness. The paint protection is limited.
Right. Now, I asked before, and people told me it's no way. But when Mitch gets back, can you see him starting at center and Karl-Anthony Towns at the 4? And Josh Hart goes to the bench.
I guess it depends on how the Knicks are playing. Because if they're playing like this, you probably checking in on Mitch right now. What you doing, Playboy?
I know we said January.
Right. But
yeah.
Make some exceptions here.
Yeah.
No back-to-backs.
Right.
Limit restriction. You don't have to play against the Sixers.
Because I could see, if you have, because Karl-Anthony Towns can play outside and shoot the ball from the outside so much, and he can post up. You won't be playing 5 out the way you play now, but you'd have a defensive center that can block shots, that can grab offensive rebounds. We don't have an alley-oop threat out there at all. That helps to spread the floor too. You know what I'm saying? Because when you have an alley-oop threat, now teams start to suck in a little bit to try to stop that alley-oop, and now you got guys on the outside that's open. That does help to spread the floor. We don't have that threat at all. That's a threat that we had last year from Hartenstein too. Not as much as the dunking like Mitch, but it was there. We don't have that threat at all right now. You know what I mean? So that's a piece that's been taken out of the game without having Mitch out there on the floor, without having Hartenstein. You get Mitch back, you have that threat. He's 7'1", whatever he is. Karl-Anthony Towns is 7-footer. Now you're playing with some real length out there, and then you have OG at the 3 and McCall at the 2. Defensively, you become a different beast altogether. So will you still be? We're playing slow now. We'll be playing slow then, but you become a different beast altogether defensively. And your rotation becomes. Obviously, your rotation becomes a little bit better. So, I'm not going to rule it out that Mitch comes back and is the starting center and Karl-Anthony Towns goes to the 4.
I wouldn't even be surprised. Because I think Precious comes back Friday, considering he was on the road trip. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think he's pretty close to coming back. Back at home, you probably get a practice in before the game. So, well, maybe not. Probably he might be home after. He might play after 2 games, but 2 games from now. But I think Precious could help a lot as well. You know what I mean? Like even playing alongside Sims a little bit. So I'm I think that's gonna help a lot too. Whether he starts or not is one thing, but even just playing some minutes alongside him, giving him another look. He's not a 7-footer, but he's a lot more mobile, a lot more aggressive. You know what I mean? He'll block some shots, he'll defend the rim, he'll play up, you know what I mean, guard up, you know what I mean? Like, so I think he'll help a lot. And he's a connector. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Big shout out to the 77. Thank you for the super chat. He said we traded 5 firsts for Bridges to do what Zachary did. Who's Zachary?
Ricochet.
Okay. I got you. All right. Well, he'll have his nights. Trust me, he'll have his nights. It'll happen. Old Head said, Sim, I agree. That's what we would love to see. Talking about Mitch. And Precious would even help. Yeah, it would. I mean, I wouldn't mind Precious. You know, we talked about it before, Tony. Precious being in that starting lineup. You know, to give us more rim protection, give us more rebounding in that starting lineup. Even though Josh Hart is a good rebounder, he still doesn't have the same length. And then let Josh Hart come off the bench and be a threat off the bench. I wouldn't mind that at all.
And you know, in a sense, a little bit more versatility. You know what I mean? Because now him and Cat could still kind of be interchangeable as far. You know what I mean? If it's a big, strong center, you might want to put Cat on him. You know what I mean? But if it's a more versatile center, all right, let Precious get some minutes on him.
Yeah.
And I like Precious as a, you know what I mean? If you want Cat protecting the rim, I'd rather Precious a guy coming in as the help defender just because he gives you a little bit more size. He's gonna protect the rim a little bit better than Josh. Shout out to Josh though. He'll get you a chase down block, but he ain't blocking it at the rim. You know what I mean? Just as a rotational guy.
Yeah. Old Head said Precious was hitting the corner 3 so the Knicks can still play 5 out. And, you know, he's not going to hit it at 40%, but if he's hitting it at 30 to 33%, you can play 5 out because people got to respect it. You know, if that's what they want to do, play 5 out, you know, people got to respect it. But if we're going to play 5 out, right, we got to have more cutting and more movement. Then you can't just stand there. You can't just have 5 guys standing around the perimeter. You know, you got to have some things happening that's instinctive. If you watch the Hawks tonight, anytime a player passed, they cut. Right? They cut down the lane and they go opposite the basketball. Right? Anytime they make a pass. So they're not just standing there waiting for a kick out. You know what I'm saying? They pass the ball, then I'm cutting to the basket. You know what I mean? And we got beat on that cut several times. You know, and then someone fills the spot of the cutter. And that's super simple basketball. I'm going to cut, somebody come and fill my spot, and then I roll around away from the basketball. And then on the side of the basketball, you can be going pick and rolls. You can do whatever. You know what I'm saying? But you got this movement. And guys don't just stand there and watch the pick and roll. It's like, okay, I'm standing here. Nothing happened. I've been standing here for 3 seconds. Let me cut so someone can fill my spot and we can rotate. You know, simple basketball. So if you're going to play 5 out, you got to have guys cutting to the basket. We can't just stand there and watch and wait for a kick out. You know, you got to have some movement. I mean, or else defense, or else they can basically play a zone without playing a zone. If you're just going to stand there, everyone can sag off into the paint. Now you can't even get penetration to the basket or run a pick and roll. And that movement, man movement is crucial.
Like, and you know, what's really weird is obviously the Knicks have better defensive players on the perimeter, yet we getting cooked in the paint and on the perimeter. You can't make this up. Like, I don't understand. I'm so confused. I figured at least we'd be able to lock one of these down.
Right. You know what it is on the perimeter, man? When you have, it's like in football, if you have a team that with aggressive pass rushers, you know, fake a handoff, throw it over the top. You know what I'm saying? Because they're aggressive, so you suck them in. You know what I mean? And this is what happens when you have aggressive guys on the perimeter and you cut to the basket. You know what I'm saying? They're sticking to you. They're aggressive, but that gives you an opportunity to be able to cut past them and be open, right? And we've seen it several times tonight. I don't know how this happened. We've seen guys leaking back behind players and someone from the top of the key finding them. I'm like, why aren't you in position where you can see this guy leaking behind you? You know, some of those defensive fundamentals have to not there right now. Sean Richardson said Thibodeau's the weakest link on his team. He's old and senile. His time in the NBA is done.
I won't go that far.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that either. I mean, because honestly, if Mitchell Robinson was healthy right now, this Knicks team would look crazy on defense. Everybody would be like, man, you see how they lock them boys down? Because having a defensive center like that who can, hold down the paint area allows these guys to stay home. They don't have to gamble as much, and they can play defense on their men. That there's a big difference there, man. It's like I hope most people get that most people understand that OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are still some of the best defensive players in the league. They're just forced to gamble and take liberties that's taking them away from playing solid defense on their guys because you don't have that perimeter presence. And I don't even know how necessarily Tibbs is using Cat. Does he not want Cat to roam and linger because Cat gets in foul trouble? I don't know. But we look like we have a little bit of a problem there.
Yeah. Early season woes, man, for the Knicks. Early season woes. They dropped to 3-4 on the season. So obviously they drop in the standings, right? They came into this game fourth in the Eastern Conference at 3-3. They lose tonight. So with the loss, I'm looking it up right now. With the loss, the Knicks, we know, at 3-4. They dropped to 7th in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, it's early, but, they dropped to 7th. The Hawks move up to 6th. The Nets are 5th. So, this team got some work to do. Right now, we just look like a bunch of pieces and parts. It's like when you open up a puzzle. All the pieces. You got all the pieces, but they're all scattered. You got to figure out how to put it together, right? That's what it is right now. Everything is kind of scattered. We don't know what's what.
And some of them are broken. You got to tape them up.
You know what's
that's a fact.
You know what scares me about it though is where the Knicks are right now. It could get worse before it gets better. Right?
I mean, at least it sounds sad, but at least we started off, at a 300, 500 pace.
500 pace, right?
We didn't start out the gate just rock bottom. You know what I mean? We would even kill. You know what I mean? We got a chance to get back to 500, but granted, it's a very tough opponent. I don't care what the record is. Well, yeah. But you're right, son. It could definitely. This was supposed to be the easy stretch right here. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I could see it getting a little bit worse before it gets better. And when I say worse, I'm saying worse in play. Because the more you're not sure what to do as you're figuring it out, you're gonna now depend on just the one-on-one play. Right? Because that's the easiest thing you can do without thinking until those pieces, you'll see little pieces come together. I mean, offensively, we're shooting the ball well. We got to get more shots. But I still think there's some stagnation. When defenses pick up, I think there's some stagnation on the offensive side. But yeah, Ron is right. It's defensively is where we got to get it. Defensively we're getting smoked out there. We're getting smoked.
And there's a chance, even with Precious coming back, that you still got to acclimate for a couple games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a chance it clicks right away, and that's all we needed was some activity that active guy that Tibbs trusts. You know what I mean? But it also could mess up a little bit of chemistry things or whatever. But the chemistry ain't great, so I'd rather get him back.
Yeah.
The sooner the better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if we're gonna use Ryan, I'd rather, you know what I mean, or whoever, bring him in now, you know what I mean, while it's bumpy. You know what I mean? Rather than trying to bring a guy in or start utilizing a guy later in the season, and now he gotta fit in, he gotta get comfortable, the teammates got, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If it makes everybody, let me hit you guys with one of the media things. If it makes everybody feel a little better, last year we went 5-5 on our first 10, and we still wind up winning 50 games. So there's that.
Let's do it. I can deal with that. I can deal with that.
We need something.
So let me ask you: after 20 games, we're 7 in, so there's 13 more. Tibbs usually makes some kind of a change after 20 games. What change do you see? Do you think?
I'm with Ron.
Huck Porty replaces Sims.
Okay. And any change in the starting lineup?
Nah, I can't see it yet. But once Huck Porty starts playing and getting comfortable out there, and Tibbs starts to see what he can do, if hopefully it's promising, then I could see him possibly saying, you know what, maybe we'll put Huck Porty in the starting lineup and put Josh Hart on the bench. I could see that happening. I just don't think Tibbs has that level of trust yet, but I think he at some point he's going to get fed up with this Sims experiment and switch it up.
But would he do that with Precious?
Exactly.
In the starting lineup.
Sorry, I forgot about Precious.
Starting lineup, and
Huck Porty, Precious,
you know.
Mm-hmm. I can see that happening. You're right.
You're not going to play Precious and Huck Porty together. You rather play Josh Hart with
correct.
Huck Porty.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean?
Correct.
So I can see. I was going to say I agree, but I think Precious starts.
Yeah.
I mean? Even though I prefer Deuce, because shout out to Deuce and Brunson minutes together tonight. You know what I mean? Like that looked good. But it makes more sense to kind of bring Precious in. Josh Hart is gonna be Josh Hart no matter what. He could play with whoever it is. You know what I mean?
And he's willing to play wherever, whenever. It's not gonna be a problem or an issue with him.
And I think I just think that Tibbs is kind of he's in super coach mode, understanding he's got to get these guys right and get them to gel. And so I think that's his main focus. He's not thinking about all these other little battles that he can worry about with the team. But it would be interesting to see him have a set out there. I mean, Campaign is hurt right now, but at least for now, I guess with a Deuce, Josh Hart, a Dadier, Huck Porty, and see if these guys can run a little bit. You know what I mean? Give your team a dynamic that the starters ain't going to have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And honestly, when we were fully healthy or minus Precious, I did kind of see it looked like the second unit brought a different dynamic to the team. I can't recall exactly what game that was because he didn't play everybody every game. But whatever game he played the largest amount of people, that second unit looked like it brought a different dynamic. It might have been our first win.
Yeah. But Tibbs, man, Tibbs has his way. And his philosophy in bringing up the young players. Especially if they're a low draft pick. If they're a high draft pick, you got some politics involved. But if they're a low draft pick, he's got his philosophy, and Greg is going to get mad. Sean Richardson's going to get mad. It's hard to argue with it. I mean, I know it's 7 games into the season, but it's hard to argue with it because we see what Deuce is giving us now. Emmanuel quickly was a low draft pick. He went through some of the same things, and you see what he ended up doing. You know what I mean? So it's hard to argue with the way he's brought some of those guys along who were low draft picks who wasn't playing at some point, and fans were calling for them to play, but then they gradually moved their way and fought their way into the lineup, and then now Deuce is one of the main cogs on this basketball team. And is going to be in the running for most improved player, maybe even in the running for sixth man of the year. So it's hard to argue with that.
I mean, what about even we haven't talked about Ryan, who's a little bit more seasoned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, we looked a little bit better tonight as far as 3-pointers and attempts and making that a threat of ours. But yeah, if add another guy that brings that dynamic, especially we need bench scoring where Deuce was carrying us. I think he was averaging 10, you know what I mean? And that was like all our bench points. 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
another Knicks season, man.
Yeah, it's never easy, man. Never easy. It's just frustrating because I understand that we have these high expectations, and of course, we're all realists. We understand this stuff takes time, but it just doesn't look good, especially when Cleveland's 8-0. Like, what are we doing here?
Cleveland is 8-0. The Celtics 7-0. Cleveland's actually 9-0 now.
Yeah, they won tonight.
Yeah, Celtics 7-2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some catching up, but things go in streaks, right? The Knicks will go on a run, win 7, 8 in a row. The Celtics will lose some games in a row. The Cleveland Cavaliers will lose some games in a row, and things will level out. It's early. It is. It's early. Cleveland, hey, that squad's been together for 3 years now. So some chemistry there. Obviously, Boston's been together for a long time.
What'd you like about the game tonight? I don't know if you ended, but let's end on a positive note.
I like that Karl Anthony Towns is bringing and playing with energy, right? Because what we've heard, we always heard that he plays soft and da 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 da. I see a big man that's hitting the glass, scrapping for rebounds, putbacks. You know what I mean? Now, on the offensive side, when he posts up, I don't see him always use his muscle to move guys out the way. Sometimes he gets pushed back, and it's hard for him to bang the guy and move him. You know what I'm saying? He's banging, but the guy ain't going nowhere. But I still do think that he's playing hard and playing aggressive. So I do like that I'm seeing from him. He's got to figure out how to consistently get up those 25 shots a game, I think. But he is playing aggressive. I like that Tyler Kolek is able to, has been able to come in and give you some productive minutes off the bench. I like that.
Hey, he made his way in the history books.
Yeah.
First rookie to start off 4 for 4.
4 for 4.
With 3.
Yep. So I definitely like those things that I'm seeing. What about you, Ron? What you like tonight?
Well, I mean, I'm echoing the sentiments about Kolek and what he's done. I think one of the things I really like is the fact that I don't feel like, I know there's some people that have their own definition of what that is, but I don't feel like Karl Anthony Towns is soft at all. I feel like the man plays strong. The only thing that he does have is he's got this weird clumsy type part of him that when he gets close to contact, he might lose the ball or fumble the ball. And then, it takes away from his play. Because really, when you look at a lot of plays, when he gets contact, sometimes he finishes through the contact. But a lot of times, it's him kind of losing his wherewithal while the contact is happening. It's not the other player stopping him. And sometimes, I mean, he's complaining for a foul. He does get fouled, but there's been a couple plays where he's just kind of lost the ball when he's trying to make his move. And so therefore, like, he's looking for the bailout. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But as far as his hustle, his effort, I like what I'm seeing. And I knew I would see this because for whatever reason, I think Tibbs brings this out of guys when they play for the Knicks, and especially the bigs. So yeah, so I'm not questioning that part, at least. I do like the fact that we're shooting incredibly well. I mean, for the most part, with the exception of maybe one game that we had a dud, I think we've been shooting well every game. So this is nice. But I can't understand how we are getting killed in the paint and from three. Like, we've always gotten killed from three as a team. So we hope that, eventually we get a little better. But now to get killed in the paint and from three, and we'd be losing rebounds, it's a lot. It's a lot.
The thing with Cat, I don't think, like, maybe it's his personality, maybe it's his voice. I don't know. But nobody fears him,
right,
in the league. He doesn't scare anybody, and I think even the bums are like, all right, who you're a punk, in their brain. Even though he's playing tough and all of that, I don't think he scares anybody. So people aren't afraid to play him aggressive.
True.
You have some players like, I'll just use Randall as an example. Some people thought he was unhinged. You know what I mean? Right? I don't know if they were like straight up like afraid of cowering from him, but they were like, hey, let me, this guy's banging his body into me, knocking me back. Let me relax a little bit. With Carlin, with Cat, people are like, they're not afraid of him. And sometimes that's an issue when you're a big playing down low. You know what I mean? You want those guys to be a little bit nervous about, being too aggressive with you, and I don't see that with Cat, So,
but at least the good part about it is he's kind of getting what he wants. He's definitely showing off the skill set so much that Tony's like, oh, maybe he could do some Giannis things. Like, so he's definitely, that little gather thing he got where he cuffs the ball. It's a nice little move he got there.
Yeah. He can, from the top of the key, putting the ball on the floor, he's tough. And he's got good footwork.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying quite Giannis. I'm just saying the 2 steps to get to the rim, you know what I mean? That's what I mean when I compare it to Giannis.
No, I hear you. I know he's not.
You know what I mean?
But you do see that one of the things about it, when he does get to the rim, he gets there pretty quickly. Like, he's a bull. Like, he does. He's not like one of those finesse to the rim. He uses his strength to get there.
He does. I wish he would use his strength more when he's posting. I feel like he gets pushed around a little bit when he's posting up and can't really like push his defender back. And he has the power. I don't know if maybe he's just not using his legs enough or what, but he ends up, shooting a little hook shot or some kind of fadeaway or something like that, instead of like bullying his way to the basket. But when he gets rebounds and he's going back up, he uses his body well. You know what I'm saying? To command the space and move guys out the way.
And unless correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think, maybe it was one time, but for the most part, he keeps the ball high. Like, he does what a big man's supposed to do, because he doesn't get the ball like stripped from him when he's trying to go back up.
Right. So, maybe it's just a matter of him learning how to use his body when he's in the post a little bit.
Right. Well, Tony, since you asked the question before we get out of here, what's your thoughts? What's the positive you take away from tonight's game?
I agree with both of you guys with Cat. But I'm gonna go Deuce, bounce back game. You know what I mean? Like, he shot the ball well. He played great defense. Played great alongside Brunson. I think Brunson kind of started to find his way alongside Deuce. I don't know if there's any correlation there, but they do play well together. So but yeah, I'm going with Deuce shooting the ball and playing great defense like he's been doing. He had a bad game last game. That's all.
Love what Deuce is doing, man.
Yeah, Deuce looks great.
Yeah.
Deuce looks great. I'm happy to see it. Yeah. I mean, and then the other thing too is, last thing I'm gonna say about this. I mean, this could be a topic for a show, giving away all my goods. Has the NBA figured out Jalen Brunson?
It's a bad stretch.
I don't think so.
I mean,
I don't think
can
so.
say,
I think they know to put a long, a 6'7" guy on them that can defend. I'm a bet on Brunson. Last year they did it all year last year, and he went through some rough stretches, and then all of a sudden he'd break out and have 3 40-point games or something.
I was gonna say it's just up to him to readjust, recalibrate again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because that's what happens every time. You know what I mean? Especially the guys who come out of nowhere, relatively. Like, you know what I mean? They get to this status. All right, now it's with double team. All right, that's not working next year. Or that is working. He got to adjust. You know what I mean? Then next year, double team don't work. Now they're gonna try the wing on him, the center on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just got to recalibrate, figure it out.
Right. Because even tonight, he still had 21 points tonight.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just
like 8 for 18.
8 for 18.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's not horrible. It's just not Brunson. You know what I mean?
Right. And sometimes Brunson's adjustments don't happen within a game.
Right.
It happens over, you know what I mean? Like the next game, you'll see another change in him, or the game after that, he'll be mad. He'll be like upset about how his last performance was, and he'll come out and go crazy. And plus, I mean, the only reason why I brought it up is because I know some people might start to ask that question because you've seen Brunson struggle against these defenders that have given him a little bit of an issue. Mm-hmm. But I can never forget how he played against last year, Paul George and Kawhi, and cooked them both. Like, it don't matter who's really on him. It's all about how he figures out how to attack them. And sometimes he just doesn't happen right away.
Right.
And it's to start the season, and it's a small sample size. So we could sit here and be like, all right, out of 7 games, he probably hasn't played him like himself in 5 of them. Like, that's a large percentage, but it's a small amount of games. You know what I mean? So it's early in the season. That's another one. Like, let me see if it's more than 10 out of 20 games that he's not playing like himself.
Right.
Then it'd be like, all right, what's going on?
And I don't think we've found that other creator out there where you can throw the ball to this other guy and he create a little bit while Brunson takes a few plays off, and then his defender, they kind of forget about what they were supposed to be doing or whatever, how they're doubling them or whatever, and then when he gets the ball, he can go get his, for a few plays before they start to, put their strategy back in. We don't have that right now consistently.
Maybe he's on the bench, Sam.
Maybe,
Tyler, the creator.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe he's on the bench. Maybe. Let me get to. Oh, I guess I wasn't. I guess I ain't gonna. He hung up. I was gonna get to a phone call, but the dude hung up. Wife called him and said, "No, it's time to go to bed."
Nah, Ron just said that. Don't even waste your time. Like,
right. Oh, he's calling back. He didn't like that comment. Caller, you live. Let me know where you're from, please. Caller, you there? Don't hear him. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. We're only 3-4. We're only 3-4. We're only 3-4.
That's right. That's right.
It's not.
That's right.
We're only 3-4. It's not done yet. We still got a lot of basketball left. You know what I mean? So we got a lot of basketball left. I don't want to. We can't hit the panic button too early. We do it every year, but we can't hit it too early. We hit the panic button too early. We start booing and all of that, and then we snowball.
Yeah. I'm confused. Like I was like hoping Stanley Johnson was trolling, but I think he's serious. Like, I'm like, come on, man. What else is Cat supposed to do? What is he supposed to do? Like, I mean, we can't ask him to do too much. At least whatever he is doing, he's doing well.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We got to figure it out on the defensive side. That's where it is. I mean, we shot 48% from the field tonight, 44% from the, or whatever what we shoot from the 3-point line.
I think it was 40. It was 48
46,
from the field. And
it was 48% from the field
and 46 from three. Wow.
From three. I mean, come on. And you lost?
That's crazy.
And you lost. And I heard Tom Thibodeau after the game, you know, he talked about the shot attempts and he talked about rebounding. You know, and obviously getting stops. I don't know. Well, Ron.
I mean, this is tough, Sam. I mean, to shoot that well and to have almost 30 assists and lose the game. Yeah, there's some issues there.
29 assists. Yeah. I mean, we had 29 assists. We made 41 shots. So we had 29 assists on 41 shots. That's pretty good. You know, on 41 shots made. That's pretty good. Shot the ball at a high clip. You got to win that. You got to win it. You got to win the game. Got to win it.
Too many bad mistakes down the stretch.
Yeah. Well, Knicks lose 121-116. They play Friday against the Milwaukee Bucks. How you feeling about that game?
Not that great. I was feeling better about it 2 games ago, but now, I mean, honestly, you know what? And Milwaukee might be a good matchup for us because they a little older, they slower.
Yeah. They're 1-6.
They might work.
They're 1-6 right now.
Yeah, but you know, teams like to get right against the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I feel like that's probably a good matchup for us. We should be able to beat Milwaukee. They just don't. They don't seem to put up the same type of hurdles that these other young teams have been giving us.
Right.
It's weird.
Well,
it's weird
because least, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say it's weird because I knew Houston was going to be a problem.
Right.
I didn't think Atlanta was going to be a problem.
Yeah. The thing is, you know, we can look at how the Knicks played against Milwaukee in the past few years, but the team is totally different, right? Mitch would guard Giannis sometimes, a lot of times. And Randall would guard Giannis, and we would build this wall. You know, do we have, who's going to guard him? OG, right? Probably OG.
I don't love it, but I guess he's fine to guard him. I don't really know if I want Cat guarding him though, because this is like one of those games that he could easily get in early foul trouble, and that sets the tone for the game.
Right? Is he gonna play Giannis? He didn't play Monday against Cleveland. They lost to Cleveland by 2, and Giannis didn't play. Lillard played. The starting five was Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., Taurean Prince, Bobby Portis, and Brook Lopez. So we'll see. We'll see if he even plays. And Milwaukee's 1-6 on the season. But the Knicks need to get the win. You know, get back to form, get back to 500, and then, you know, go from there. We got to get that win. Got to get that win.
Yeah,
Tone,
it's brutal.
What's your thoughts on the Milwaukee game?
I thought I heard reports that he should be back for Friday's game. You know, that's gonna make it tougher. Hopefully he got some rust. You know what I mean? But he he got talent, but he play on straight emotion and rate. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think rust really affects him unless we forcing him into shooting jumpers, which is great. You know what I mean? Another test. Can't take him lightly. The record don't mean nothing right now.
Yeah. You heard Clyde today in the game say so much parity. You know, you got to come to play every night, and that's true. It's gonna be a big one at the Garden. So, fans gonna be ready. Fans ready for a win. If the Knicks get down double digits, though, the Boo Birds, I think, is coming out. I think they coming out. The Knicks get down double digits, I think those Boo Birds are coming out, man. So let's not. Come on, guys. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's crazy, but it's a big one on Friday.
No, it is.
It's a big one. It's a big game. Already.
I mean, I think that's going to mean a lot. It means a lot for both teams, but I think the Knicks are going to win because I think they're going to be hungry to break this little losing streak that they got. It's only 2 games, but still I think they want to break that.
Yeah. I mean, with the Bucks 1-6 though, so they're desperate. They're probably a little more. They're probably feeling more desperate than the Knicks. Anyway, man, I'm gonna head up out of here so I can get up early and go to work. Whatnot. Any last words before we go?
Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to you, Sim Ron.
Appreciate it.
Go Black is time.
No doubt. Anything wrong?
Nah, man. Listen, we're gonna be all right, y'all. We talking through it right now, but I think we're all confident. Yeah. We're confident we're gonna be okay. It's just gonna take some time. It may be a little longer than we thought, but we're gonna be all right.
Oh,
no matter what, we here. We still Knicks fans, baby.
No doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, we out of here. Appreciate you. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Knick updates and trade rumors? Postgame reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.